Good morning. Welcome to Weathersfield Proctor Library Storytime. I'm Glenna Coleman, Youth Services Librarian, and here's our library bear, who today is being Detective Bear. We have chosen 3 stories that have mysteries in them. So he has his private investigator hat on, and let's get started. I'm going to get a little more comfortable here. Our first story of detective work is called Runaway Mittens. This is written by Jean Rogers and with pictures by Rie Munoz. Now, I'm sure we've all had mittens go missing at one point or another, and it takes a lot of detective work to find them. Runaway Mittens. This is dedicated for Rosemary, the big sister who could always find the mittens. And the artistic dedication is for Dominic Roussin and Brian Hamey. Pika's grandmother knit him a pair of bright red mittens. No cold could sneak through the mittens grandmother knits. Her stitches are so small and tight and smooth. Pika thinks they are the finest mittens he has ever had. Oh, it's definitely a pair you don't want to lose. But those mittens are always getting lost. Have you seen my mittens? Pika says. Have your mittens run away again? Etta asks him. How is it that my little brother's mittens won't stay in his pockets where they belong? Etta is always teasing Pika, but she finds the mittens on a shelf where they were put to dry. Mittens, Pika says, will you please stop running away? At school, next day, the teacher says no one can go outside for recess without caps and mittens. It is too cold and snowy, he says. Have you seen my mittens? Pika asks everyone. George helps him look. At last, Pika spies a bit of red on the floor behind the radiator. His mittens were there all the time, getting warm and dry. Come on, George calls to Pika. Let's go, or recess will be over. One day, there's a big hole in Pika's mitten. He takes it to his grandmother. I should have made sealskin mittens for my grandson, she says. With the fur turned inside, your fingers would never feel cold. Oh, Pika says quickly. But these mittens are just right for playing in the snow. Grandmother smiles at Pika. You're right. I'll get some red yarn and sew up the hole. And when you are old enough to hunt seals and walrus, my grandson, then I will make you some fine sealskin mittens. Now, red wool ones are just right. Have you guessed that Pika lives in the North Country? Pika's family is going ice fishing this Saturday morning. Everyone is ready to go except Pika. Oh, Mittens, he says, why do you always disappear just when I need you? Pika looks everywhere. The mittens are not on the shelf. They're not behind the stove. They're not under the couch. What is that bit of red sticking out of your pocket? Asks his mother. You need special glasses made just for finding runaway mittens, Etta teases. What I need, Pika answers, are mittens that never run away. Finally, they're ready to fish. A few days later, a big snowstorm comes howling out of the north. The snow swirls in all directions, up, down, around, and about. Pika and Etta can barely see their way home from school. Father has brought Pin into the house and fixed her a box by the stove. It is too cold for her to have pups outside. There will be no school until the storm blows over. The sky is bright blue again. It is so cold and still outside that everything sparkles and crackles. Pika and Etta are getting ready for school. But where are Pika's mittens? Last night they were safe in his pocket. Now they are nowhere to be found. Not on the shelf, not behind the stove, not in his boots. Etta, Pika shouts, come and see. Pen had her puppies last night. Etta looks into the box. 9 little sled dogs with white paws and black noses, she says. But what is that red thing under this puppy? My mittens, Pica shouts. This time you stay right where you are and help Pin keep her puppies warm. Pica looks at the wriggling, squirming puppies. It's all right, Pin, he says softly. I'll keep my hands in my pockets. Spring will soon be here. Well, I hope you enjoyed the detective story of the Runaway Mittens by Jean Rogers. Pictures by Rie Munoz. Our next detective story is by Nancy Tafuri. Have you seen my ducklings? Let's count the ducklings here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That may be important in the story. We'll have to find out. Have you seen my ducklings? By Nancy Tafuri. Early one morning, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. I only see 7 ducklings there. Oh, do you see the 8th one? Oh, I think the mother duck might be counting her ducklings. Where are they? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, there are only 7 now. Do you see the 8th? Way up here. Have you seen my duckling? There he is. Have you seen my duckling? Wait, I think I just spied him just as I turned the page. There he is, right there. Have you seen my duckling? You see him right up here in this corner? Have you seen my duckling? Oh, here he is. You can barely see his head. You see it? Have you seen my duckling? Oh, there he is. Oh, look, out he pops. Up in that corner there. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And there they are, all safe at home. Well, you had to be quite a detective to find that duckling, missing duckling on every page, didn't you? But the mother duck did exactly what detectives do. She asked questions. Excuse me. All right, our last detective story for today is The Day the Babies Crawled Away by Peggy Rathman. We start with this lovely illustration. See all those houses with the silhouettes inside? The Day the Babies Crawled Away. Cotton candy, pony rides, ice cream. This one says pie eating contest. Remember the day the babies crawled away? We moms and dads were eating pies. The babies saw some butterflies. And what do you know? Surprise, surprise! The babies crawled away. Remember the way you saved the day? You tried to save the day. You hollered, hey, you babies stay. But none of them did, and some of them hid. I say, what a day when the babies crawled away. They crawled in the trees, chasing bees. Oh my goodness, that's not a good idea. They crawled in a bog, chasing frogs. Well, frogs themselves are not a problem, but the bog is not a good place for babies to be. At least without somebody older to make sure they don't fall in. They crawled in a cave. You cried, "Babies, behave!" But the babies loved bats, so the babies just waved. Oh my, what babies. When the babies crawled out on a ledge, you yelled, "Babies, don't crawl near the edge!" But none of them heard, at least not the 3 who thought they were birds and got stuck in a tree. You yelled, "I'll be there in a jiff," as you scrambled down the cliff, and you saved the whole crew, including the 2 who practically flew before landing on you. Nice play. What a day when the babies crawled away. But then, my oh my, how those babies began to cry. They were hungry and tired, and their little mouths were dry. So, you mashed them some blackberries with droplets of dew, and they took a short nap in a big pile on you. I say, what a day when the babies crawled away. Remember the sling you invented to bring them all back? You borrowed their diapers and tied them into a sack with lines made of vines. It took quite a while, but you and the babies all rode up in style. Hey, hey, what a day when the babies crawled away. Remember the way they followed you home that day? Through the cave and the trees, on their brave little knees, waving bye-bye to the bats and the bees. Okay, what a day when the babies crawled away. Remember how we cheered, "Hip, hip, hooray! You fetched our darling babies home to stay. You are our hero, have some pies, and we insist you've won first prize for saving the day when the babies crawled away." Remember the way I carried you home to bed? You were thirsty and tired, and your little eyes were red. You told me your story. I brewed you some tea. Then you fell fast asleep in a small pile on me. Shh. I say, what a day when the babies crawled away. Well, I hope you enjoyed The Day the Babies Crawled Away by Peggy Rathman. That was quite a detective story, too, having to find all those babies. Well, Library Bear, thank you for inspiring me to read some mystery detective stories of problems that had to be solved. This was Glenna Coleman, Youth Services Librarian at the Weathersfield Proctor Library. Goodbye until next time.